Hello and welcome to Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. This is episode 360, and I am back in the US of A, ladies and gentlemen. I was in Crete for a little over 2 weeks. I have no idea what to tell you about it just yet. I believe that there will be many blogs forthcoming. At least I'm assuming there will be. But for now, I don't know what to say. It was lovely. I had a fantastic time. And now here I am back in New York City. I'm trying a new audio setup today. There's some orchestration happening in the floor below me. So the room that I have been recording in has no door. So in order to create a more sealed up sound environment, I am in the room that has an air conditioner, which of course I turn off when I record, but it is helpful to be able to turn it on when I'm like setting things up or moving things around, because it gets hot in this city in the summertime. Anyway, it also gets hot in Crete. That's another thing I'll tell you. It was hot, very hot. Anyway, today's blog, I know we've been away for so long. 2 weeks we had rebroadcasts, and now we shall have a brand new. And by brand new, I apparently mean back in May is when I published this, which means, no, I think I probably wrote it in May too, possibly. Anyway, not so brand spanking new in that it is, a little bit old, but also it is new to the blogcast, right? It's new. If you only listen to the blogcast, and I know there are a few of you, this is brand new to you. And yes, I wrote it in May, but now here we are, July, and I shall read it to you. It is kind of a silly one, I will say, but silly's fun. So here it is. It is called The Answer is Magnets. Before bed, I was reading the third book in V.E. Schwab's Shades of Magic trilogy. I had a hard time putting it down as our two heroes were in a very tight spot, battling a killer magician creature that could dissipate itself. How were they going to get out of this mess? And maybe, more to the point, how was the writer going to get them out? It took me a while to get to sleep as I was turning over the problem, but eventually I began to dream. And I woke myself up multiple times in the night trying to will myself to remember the following sentence. The answer is magnets. I'd discovered that particles of this magician creature could be drawn out of things like bowls of soup with magnets. This creature was metallic in some way, I guess. I loved the elegance of a simple scientific kind of magic being the solution to this giant thorny problem. All night long, I kept returning to the answer is magnets. It was so important to me in my sleep. I tried to tell my partner about it multiple times, but I never managed it. Now, I am almost certain that the answer in this book I was reading is not magnets. I haven't read on yet, but I feel fairly confident that magnets will not be how this team escapes their situation. It's out of line with the style of the book and would lack a crucial swashbuckle quality. But I had to solve it for me first, I guess. This sort of thing has happened to me before. I remember one night being awake 4 hours trying to figure out how they were going to get someone out of jail on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I tried out so many scenarios between 2 and 5 in the morning. I don't remember them now or any of the circumstances, but I remember the fervor of wondering, how are they going to get themselves out of this one? What I'm wondering now is why this doesn't happen more often. I have a story-making brain, so it makes some sense that I get hung up on what might happen next in a story. I can get very wrapped up in the sequence of events. But only rarely does my brain get stuck on a story point like this. I don't know why this might be, but I suspect it happens when the stakes get very high, when a character I care about is in the tightest of spots, and there is no obvious solution. I suspect my story-making brain is actually finding story solutions all the time without my noticing it. My brain likely generates multiple story solutions based on the many stories I have seen and read before, and it is satisfied that there are ways out of these moments. I think this may be why I am so impressed by stories that I cannot predict. I'm a nonstop predicting machine. Except when I can't find an obvious solution. That's when my brain starts spinning and giving me dreams. I imagine this may be something a lot of us do. I think humans like to problem solve through stories, and we like having a list of solutions for getting people we like out of tight spots, even if they're fictional. We like posing questions and creating problems to solve. We like having answers readily available. And what is the answer? The answer is magnets, of course. So I can tell you now, having finished the book that inspired this post, that the answer was not magnets. And in fact, it was laughably not magnets because it was so complicated, the answer. And I think that part of the issue was I was reading it through a library app on my tablet, on my iPad. So I had no idea like where I was in the story. Like when you read a book like that's like that you hold in your hand, you know where you are. You know if you're in the middle of the book or towards the end of the book. So I didn't have a sense that this book had so much more to go. So something as simple and elegant as a magnet would have wrapped that story up much sooner than I was imagining, because there was a lot more story to go before those two people solved the problem. I mean, yeah. In a way, I almost wished it had been magnets because it ended up being quite a long, drawn out affair. I enjoyed it, I really did, but wow, it was a lot of problems these magicians had. Anyway, I recommend the series. The first book was definitely the best one, in my opinion. Second one, not as good as the first, but still pretty good. Third one, not as good as the second. So, but all pretty good. Very engaging. Lots of adventures. That's always nice. So the answer was not magnets, much to my brain's disappointment. But sometimes the answer is just magnets, just in general, maybe. So for a song, I thought there would be many, 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 many songs about magnets, but there did not turn out to be as many as I expected. I'm always surprised about what there are songs about and what there aren't. Magnets, would have thought, very useful metaphor. Turns out there aren't that many magnet songs. I mean, there are a few, but not like I expected. So I've gone with a Lindsay Lohan magnet song. I know that's weird. I don't think I remembered that she even tried to have a music career. I think I was not aware of it at the time. But it is certainly the simplest of the songs that I was looking at, and I needed something reasonably simple because I did not have an instrument with me while I was in Crete. So I knew my calluses would be gone and that I would not have a lot of time to, prepare. So Lindsay Lohan with her 3-chord fun was exactly what I needed. I am curious about the rest of her music career. I don't know. Anyway, the song is very funny because the beginning sounds a little bit like a Garbage or like a Hole song. Like it has that kind of like 90s grunge. I think it may even be like the same melody as a Garbage song, maybe. You listen, you tell me. And then it goes to like so many other strange places. It is a very curious product of its time. And good job, Lindsay Lohan. Anyway, I'll play that for you in a moment. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. And thanks for hanging in while I was away and listening to rebroadcasts, or not listening to rebroadcasts, as it were. If you like this experience, please tell someone about it. Write a review you could do, or subscribe, or click a like button in your podcast app if your podcast app does that. Or you could also contribute and be a patron on Patreon. Patreon.com/Emily R. Davis is the hotspot for supporting this thing. But there's also Ko-fi, there's PayPal. All those links are in the show notes. I'm also on Substack, so if you prefer the written version of the situation, you're probably not here. But some people are on Substack, and it's just easier to like do the thing you're already doing. So I am there. I'm gonna be better about posting that in a timely fashion. And I think those are all the places for the moment. But mostly it's your ears listening to this here now that matters. So thank you so much for listening. So, here you shall have a song called Magnet on ukulele, and please enjoy. I don't know whether I should hate it or should like it. The way you read through me, I'd swear you were a psychic. And I tried to not reach for the phone, but something bigger makes me call you. I don't know what to do, I'm into you. Is it gravity, chemistry, physically pulling me? What could it be, boy? 'Cause I'm so drawn to you like a fool. I keep coming back, it's true. I can't stand it. You're like a magnet. You're like a magnet. I don't know whether I should move on or should move in. Maybe a part of me is fine with never knowing. 'Cause I tried to leave, but that won't work. 'Cause being strong just makes it worse. So what could I do? I'm torn in two. Is it gravity, chemistry, physically pulling me? What could it be, boy? 'Cause I'm so drawn to you like a fool. I keep coming back, it's true. I can't stand it. You're like a magnet. You're like a magnet. Oh, come a little closer, 'cause I'm loving you, loving you, loving you. Oh, come a little closer, 'cause I'm missing you, missing you, missing you. Oh, come a little closer, 'cause I'm loving you, loving you, loving you, loving you. Is it gravity, chemistry, physically pulling me? What could it be, boy? 'Cause I'm so drawn to you like a fool. I keep coming back, it's true. I can't stand it. Is it gravity, chemistry, physically pulling me. What could it be, boy? 'Cause I'm so drawn to you like a fool. I keep coming back, it's true. I can't stand it. You're like a magnet. 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 I keep coming back. I keep coming back. I keep coming back.